welcome back to the Trainwell podcast, inspiring you to move more, get stronger, and have fun. It is a new year, but we're all still the same, but maybe we have better intentions, which is exciting. And today we're going to discuss if you're going into this year feeling like you could use some more friends, maybe you want to meet someone, a romantic partner, why the gym is a great place to do that, and how to do it and not be a total creep. And the cool thing about today is that Joey actually met his wife at the gym, and he's going to tell us his love story, which I'm personally very excited to hear.
Yeah, before I get into the story in which I fell on my face a few times, I think this is a great topic, Dee. This is your topic. Kudos to you, because the gym is a fabulous way to meet and connect with folks. And I do want to say that it takes a lot of courage and confidence to do stuff, but I think our society is lacking in that. We all tend to live in our own little bubble. We all tend to live on our phones. We're kind of isolated when we go in. And so if I can offer a word of advice right out of the get-go, it would be to, step outside of that and be the person who's not always looking down. And I think it starts with a smile first and foremost. If you're smiling, it's such a great way. I always compared smiling to like a dog waving its tail. Like a dog is always happy, right? And so if you can portray that, it kind of starts with yourself, and that goes a long way.
Yeah, I love it. I'm not even kidding you. Every close friend I've had outside of my friends that I grew up with ever since becoming an adult, like leaving school, every friendship I've made, like literally, I think has been through the gym. Now, obviously I'm a fitness person, so I spent a lot of time in the gym. But I think even since working in a virtual setting and not like spending all my days in the gym, but just being a gym member, even if I haven't met the person at the gym, it's helped me build a relationship with friends. Like I'll meet someone and then I find out, oh, you're interested in like working out or whatever, come to the gym with me. I've invited people to the gym and it like sets the foundation for like our friendship. So I'm just so excited to talk about this topic because I do think in general, like you said, everyone seems to be meeting each other online these days. And I think collectively, everyone does not want to do that anymore. We want to meet people in real life. It's such a better way to like actually engage with someone and like get the feel of who they are. It's just to like see them move, see what they're like, see their personality come through, which you can't get from just like looking at a few pictures online. So, Joey, will you start us off by sharing how you met your wife? Tell us your story.
Okay, I'll give the condensed version. This is embarrassing to say. On our wedding website, I'll never forget, it said of how we met. Like that was the thing on the knot or whatever. And I typed this thing out and it got the most hits, probably more than the actual ceremony and the actual wedding itself, but the reception. I'll try to do it. My wife does a better job of telling it from her perspective. But long story short, I was a trainer at a gym. I was at this gym for 8 years, and there's a big box gym, and I was absolutely fathomed by this gal who came. So much so that I would go up to the front desk after she walked by, and I would creep on her, like we called it M2. It was like the software. So for months, I was just infatuated. I knew her date of birth. I knew when she worked out. I knew her age. I knew, all that. And it was kind of creepy to the point I was so nervous to talk to her. Like the first thing I noticed is she was 3 years older than me. So right away I developed this imposter syndrome of like, oh gosh, she's too good for me, blah, blah, blah. And then I figured out she was a pharmacist who makes like a lot of money. And I didn't like that. Like that was kind of a source of insecurity for me. Right. And so I kind of developed these weird habits like, oh, I can never get her, blah, blah, blah. She's like this unicorn. She didn't have a ring on her finger. That's what I noticed though. But anyways, I knew that whenever she got upstairs, she would always go and do weights. And so my first plan after about 4 or 5 months of just like being infatuated, seeing stars, right? I thought that it'd be a great way for me to go talk to her by meeting her in her journey to the weights after she got upstairs. And I'll never forget, during off time, you're supposed to have a spray bottle and a towel to clean equipment when the trainer is off duty, right? So I had my spray ball in my hand, my towel, and I was going to go talk to her. And I noticed she ran in these glycerin shoes that I ran my last marathon in. And so my plan was I'm going to talk to her about her shoes. She was wearing white beat headphones. She's walking over there, and I go over her and I'm like, I like your shoes. And she just gives me like this head nod. She didn't even hear me. She gave me like a half smile, and she proceeded to walk straight back to the dumbbell. So I was completely shut down. I looked like an idiot. So I proceeded to clean equipment for the rest of the 20 minutes or whatever. So that was failure number one. Failure number two was I came out of the bathroom and there was the water fountain right there to fill your water bottles up. And she always worked out with this pink water bottle, this pink Nalgene bottle. And I know, creepy, right? Like I knew everything about.
You're really getting into stalker territory here, I'll be
I know.
honest.
I was infatuated. Anyways, she's filling up her water bottle, and I think, perfect. This is my opportunity. She's going to be at this water bottle filling station for at least 10 seconds. Let me go talk to her or something. And so I get up to her, and I remember I had butterflies in my stomach, and I kind of muttered, and I'm getting all worked up, like talking about it right now because I still remember it. But anyways, what comes out of my mouth is, I know someone who likes you. Like you're in second grade, right? Like you do when you go up to someone, like, I know someone likes you. And she kind of looks at me. She like opens her headphones. She's like, oh yeah, who? And I tell her it's a girl, because one of our group X instructors had a quote unquote girl crush on her, right? Anyways, she got really mad, and she shut me down again. She walked off. I later figured out why, but that's not the point. But anyways, it was 3 months later, and I saw her foam rolling before the employee break room. I remember I'm walking over and I saw her. It was early morning. It was about 5:30, and I just said, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm just gonna ask her out. So I walked up to her full confidence, and I knew she liked to go bike. I knew she loved hills. She was a big cycling fan. So I said, hey, you want to go ride sometime with me? Ride some hills? And that was when I first got her. I remember she got up and we introduced ourselves, names and whatnot. And so I remember writing her last name. It was Poulos, Pullos. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're Hispanic? You have two L's? And she's like, no, I'm Greek. I'm like, Greek? Never met a Greek before. So anyways, 11 years later and 3 children, she's the woman of my dreams, and I'm going to make her dreams come true, D.
Now, Joey, this was a great story. What would you have done differently looking back? What were all the mistakes you made that you wish you would have just done differently?
So what I would have done differently, number one, is do not develop these false narratives in your head, or the imposter syndrome, you call it, like where you don't think you're good enough, or they're going to think this of me or whatever, because that's completely false. And what you tell yourself subconsciously can actually manifest consciously, right? How you project yourself. So don't develop those narratives in your head. Have confidence, be bold, right? Be courageous. And the second thing I learned from this is that persistence really does pay off. And so I did fail 2 times miserably. And they're often, I often overblow how much I failed, but I kept at it, right? And so lo and behold, again, we got married and settled down. So that's what I can offer.
Yeah. Now, do you wish you would have just gone up to her sooner instead of waiting like 4 or 5 months of just like stalking her profile, which is like probably illegal to like look at all her personal info. But like, do you wish you would have just like gone up to her right away?
No, I don't. I don't regret anything, because it makes a great story and it offers humor. And every new couple we meet, we always replay it and get a lot of laughs. Uh, One thing I will say is, like, connection is a big thing when you meet people. Like when you meet 2 people at a gym, right? Like, or you meet someone at the gym, whether it's friends or whatever, you automatically have that connection. And so when we tell our story to other people, like, that's our connection, because everyone has their story of how they met their partner.
Yeah. Well, that's good. But what worries me is like, what if you missed your shot? What if in those 4 or 5 months she had met someone and then you missed your shot? I
Or
personally recommend that people just shoot their shot, ASAP.
yeah, for sure. That's a valid point. If you take your shot, I mean, the worst that the thing is going to happen is no, right? But at least you know, at least you have closure on it. And our first date was actually a whole nother funny story, but I won't get into that. But she could have definitely took that the wrong way too, because I wrote off past her because she told me to go ahead, but that was a bad thing to do. But anyways, shoot your shot, have confidence, be bold, and if you're trying to make friends, one thing I always said is always know like how people's body language is and read them, right? That's huge because if you're trying to meet a friend there, are they someone who's like looking up and like kind of unaware of what they're doing, or are they like in the zone all the time? Because I think you shouldn't mess with people in the zone all the time. That's just my personal opinion, but it depends. Like you can generally see just off body language of what they're telling you. That's huge. There's a great book on body language, and I forget who writes it, but when you come to in person, you get a lot from reading the room based on their what they're expressing.
Yeah, I think in general, we have to be just more courageous. And like, you can get really in your head. Like, I even get in my head just from saying, just to like say hi to someone at the gym, not even like in a romantic way, but just like someone I've seen around. I actually have a great example of this. So when I go to the gym, I tend to see the same people there all the time, month after month, like you see the same people. And at some point, it gets weird if you have not said hello, because it's like, okay, we see each other like multiple times a week here in the same place, no one's saying anything. So I do think you have to be willing to like break the ice. So just recently, I see this person at the gym all the time, literally all the time. And he's always doing cool stuff, cool moves. Like he always has a notebook, he's writing down, and we constantly see each other. And neither one of us have acknowledged each other's presence, even when we're on a platform literally right next to each other. And at some point, it's like, this is awkward. So I finally just said to him, I said, "Hey, I'm Darian. I see you here all the time. I just wanted to introduce myself." And he was super cool about it. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm so and so. I know we've seen each other here for months." And I was like, "Cool, nice to meet you." Now you can just like wave at that person at the gym. That is like how you build a friendship. And the cool thing about meeting people at the gym, whether it's a friendship or you're looking for like a romantic thing, is that you're building on a base of at least one shared interest, because they're at the gym and you're at the gym. Especially if you see them there often, that's kind of like a habit for them. So you have like that base to build off of. So like because I think like as a female, I sometimes do get very nervous if people come up to me at the gym. Like if men come up to me at the gym, I'm always like, "What are you doing here? What's your angle? What's your agenda? Get away from me." I am just a little bit suspicious of that. But I do think there are ways that men can approach women at the gym that are not creepy. So, Joey, what do you think? What are some ways men can approach a woman at the gym that is not creepy? I have some ideas.
Oh yeah, I have so many ideas. But the book I was referring to about body language is Definitive Book of Body Language. It's $8. Buy that book, Barbara Pease. Number one thing is relationships take time. So don't expect to woo somebody in the first time you meet them. But I think that's number one is it's gonna take a few weeks, months, whatever. You're not gonna go up to somebody and chances are you're not gonna like make a profound impact on them right out of the gate and you guys become best friends and whatnot. It takes time. Number two is always smile. Like I said earlier, is like be warm, be inviting. That's another thing. And I love what you said there about going up to this person is just do a simple introduction. Before the introduction, I would just say hi. That's it. It's just say hello, acknowledge them. So now they'll be familiar to you and say hi with a smile, say good morning, say happy new year's. And I think step two of that would be, offer a compliment. Hey, those maybe not get super in detail, but hey, nice, you're working hard today. That's solid. Or like you see them all the time doing jump rope or CrossFit classes. Like and you really take some names in that class. Keep it up. That'd be night number two. And again, at this timepiece, then you open the door to having conversations like, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" or blah blah blah. I think that's a smooth way to land the plane, so to speak.
Yeah, I would agree. I think never comment on a woman's physical appearance at the gym or even like her clothing because women wear, tight leggings at the gym. It could put her on guard, I think, or feel just slightly like, what's the deal here? What are you getting at? But I love that idea of like, you know, if you see someone who's like lifting really heavy, like, whoa, nice weight on that squat. That's awesome. Like inquire about their training program. Hey, what program are you running? That seems cool. Or like, hey, I noticed you have awesome form, and ask them a question, like if someone came up to me and said, hey, like your front squats look really great. I have trouble with those. Like what are your ideas for that? I think that's a great way to just start a conversation with someone. Or I actually had a guy come up to me once. I was doing pull-ups and he was like, "Hey, do you rock climb?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." He's like, "Yeah, I figured because you're really good at pull-ups and rock climbers tend to be good at pull-ups." And then we got to talk about rock climbing and it was like a really great in to open up the door for a conversation about a shared interest. So I think like just simply noticing the movements and the workout is way better than complimenting like anything about their physical appearance or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's a good call. Celebrate their efforts,
Yeah.
as opposed to like their form or I guess you could say form, but like don't isolate a body part or something like that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
huge. The other thing too is you have to read how they respond to that comment because you have to be receptive of how they open the door, so to speak. Right? You might have
Yeah.
people who you have no idea what their background is. So if you go up and say hello and they shut you down, like I was, right? I should have probably learned from that, but it can work out, I guess. But see how they're receptive of that. Or like when that person asks, do you do pull ups? Like you could have responded, or sorry, are you a climber? You could have responded like, no. And then boom, like that's it. Leave it be. Don't try to add on to that. That's huge to read and know what to say after that.
Yes, that's such a good point. I had this other guy recently come up to me at the gym. This older guy, and not like I don't think he was like trying to hit on me, but he brought up a conversation with me and I was like in the middle of the workout, I was doing my thing. He was saying some stuff that kind of didn't land great with me, that felt a little off. And I'm the whole time trying to like inch my earbud back into my ear and like try to keep, and he would not walk away. I'm like, this dude is not getting the point. Like, I don't want to talk. Now, I could have been direct and said, like, hey, it's nice. It was nice to meet you, but I'm on a timeline here. And I think that's perfectly acceptable, but be clear. I should have been more clear with like, hey, I'm trying to get my workout in here, but if you're the person that's talking, definitely pay attention. Do they seem like they want to talk to you, or they seem like they're trying to get back to their workout? Which brings me to another point about headphones.
Oh,
I think if you want to meet someone at the gym, don't wear headphones at the gym because it screams not approachable. And I know everyone wears headphones at the gym, but if you want to make friends and like meet people, you will end up talking to way more people without your headphones in because I have a friend who goes to the gym. She never wears headphones. And she's talking to me all the time about the conversations she's having at the gym, the people she's meeting at the gym. I said, I don't meet anyone at this gym. She's like, that's because you're wearing headphones. And it's true. No one approaches me because I can't hear them. I mean, some people do, and, then they don't get the hint. But yeah, keep your headphones out.
yeah, that's a great point. That's why classes work so well, like group X classes, like yoga,
Yeah.
the group to CrossFitters, because you're with them for an hour, right? And I used to love the buddy pairings, right? When I was coaching big, numbers and groups, I would always pair people up so they can develop relationships, right? Because I know they're going to come back, and the more their relationships are fostered, you're accomplishing something together, right? And that's huge in itself. And when you do it with somebody, it just heightens your connection. You can talk about it after class, etc. But you don't have headphones in class. I mean, I guess you could, but it kind of singles you out. I want to just say one thing on this, and that's The power of a smile, a handshake, and an introduction goes so far in today's world. Let me say that again. The power of a smile, a handshake, and a quick introduction. Hey, my name's Joey. That's it. Like, that's it. And like that's huge. And caveat of that is names, remembering their names and going back to my timeline of building that relationship over time, like saying, "Hey, Darian, good morning to you," right? Or
Yeah.
whatever, like remembering their name and reciting it because someone's name to them means so much to that person. You can't even fathom it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right too about group classes. If your goal is to like make some new friends, like to meet someone, choose your gym strategically. If you're going to like some big box gym, like, I don't know, a Planet Fitness, something along those lines, people going to Planet Fitness aren't usually there to like be in a community. They're kind of there to get in, get out. It's a very affordable gym. They just want to do a workout and leave. If you, I have, I have found rock climbing gyms, even if you're not a climber, they have gyms. They have like an area where you lift. They have kettlebells, dumbbells, cables, everything. People at climbing gyms are so friendly. It's baked into the culture. Same with CrossFit gyms. It's baked into the culture, that community aspect. So if you want to get a workout and meet people, choosing a gym that's not just like a standard big box gym, I think is probably the way to go. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. That your environment is going to have similar people, right? Similar interests, as you alluded to earlier, and picking your environment in which you work out in is huge, absolutely huge. It could be doesn't have to be a gym, right? It can be like a salsa dancing group or something like that. You know, like find somebody who matches your interests, right, and go to that place.
Yeah, I love that. And I just think again to like close out, be bold. I do sometimes, I'm very outgoing, but I do get nervous to like start the conversation off sometimes. Like, I sometimes will just get in my head to be like, "Ugh, I don't want to bother them. Like, what if they think I'm a weirdo?" But the truth is, when people approach me in a friendly way, I'm always really appreciative that they did for the most part, you know? So I think that's something you can remember is like when other people approach you, you tend to feel like more comfortable and welcomed and like it opens the door that this is a safe and friendly person. And that's most likely how others will feel if you approach them.
Yeah, well said, D. I think my final thought to this would be just smile. Smile, and if you can offer humor in it, all the better. If you can get them to crack a little joke on, if you can say, "Hey, nice front squats. Last time I did those, I almost passed out, or I farted, or something like that." That would that goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we hope that you make tons of new friends this year at the gym. Maybe you meet a partner. We don't know. The possibilities are endless, but take those headphones out unless you're listening to our podcast. In that case, keep them in, finish up, then take the headphones out and just like see what happens, smile, wave, and be friendly. Thank you all so much for listening to another episode of the Trainwell podcast. If you have feedback, please send us a message. Let us know what you want to hear from us in 2026. And yeah, we're going to keep it going.
As always, listeners, click the link in the show notes to get matched with your own personal trainer. 2 weeks free. Give us a shot, and Happy New Year.